Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mind of Mars podcast, a podcast I'll be doing to give you a little insight on what's going on in my mind, actually, and how I function as a person. Because for some people, it might seem a bit odd or might seem a bit weird. So, I'm going to give you a little insight. You know the motto. So, I'm going to be talking about some topics. First of all, I want to talk about the past week/weeks for me because I feel like I've been doing quite well mentally, especially when comparing it to the past weeks for me or the past months. I've been really well. I've got to say, I think the stress going away for school has helped me a fair bit. I can't even lie. I was really, feeling the stress. I was not feeling myself actually. I was kind of like this work determined person, not being able to make time for myself to enjoy life as well as I should. So luckily, I've got the time now. I've started to work as well in a cool little cafe. Met a lot of cool people. They all are really nice to me as well. It's a good vibe. Waking up every morning, feeling a lot better than I did as well. So the past weeks have been quite amazing for me as well. Uh, my friends have also been starting to ask me for free dates in my agenda, which is new to me because, well, normally I was the guy to ask them about time they had spare. So it feels nice to get that confirmation from your friends that they actually do want to spend time with you, and it's not like always you to be pushing them. To get some time out of them. So that's been quite fun. Of course, not everything's been great for me personally. I do take, for example, my training pretty seriously. For example, my volleyball training. I haven't been hitting quite the level I hoped or I aspired to be at, especially at this time of season. I've been working out behind the scenes as well, like doing short runs and just exercising way more. So I hoped that my fitness level would improve faster than it does. I get tired quite quickly. Well, not as quick as in the beginning, of course, but still too quick for my likings. On the other hand, I'm just way too critical for myself in that aspect, and I do realize that I am. It's just something that I think just won't go away ever. I've always had that. I've always been determined. I've always had that winner's mentality. I've always wanted to grow, not only as a person but as an athlete as well. But that 1 year rest from sports for me that I had 2 years ago just really didn't do me any favors in that part. So I think, I can say that I should be less harsh on myself, but I just know I won't. So when I don't hit the level during a training that I would like to, or that I know I used to be at when I was playing quite regularly and at top shape, then that angers me, that frustrates me, and that brings my mental health down as well. But overall, it's been a good couple of weeks, a couple of months. I've been growing closer to my friends as well now that the work is nearly done for school, or well, it is finished, but I've took on a small project with a little company providing some information about technology to older people, especially seniors. And it did give me a bit of stress, but I had a nice conversation with one of the organizers, and she assured me that everything's going to be okay, and that the people that I will be teaching to actually already love me without even having met me in person. So that's quite nice. So I'm going to conclude that chapter there. I'm quite happy with with my last couple of weeks. Of course, in the next podcast, I'll talk about the progression I've made from now on to when I next record, of course. But yeah, overall, if you want to know how I was feeling mentally, well, I've been really well. No worries towards me in that regard. Now, I've written down a couple of topics, as I already mentioned. One of them was my mental health in general, not only for the past couple of weeks or months, but yeah, in general, most of you listening know me quite well, I think. And you should know that I'm someone who dabbles a lot when it comes to mental health. The one day I could be very much on the up, and then next minute I can drop down massively and have like a mental crisis. And I don't really know where that comes from, to be honest. I was always, well, I did get bullied at school, and that did make me really sad, of course. But in general, I was always a really happy child. I was full of energy, and I never seemed to have any problems. But yeah, I don't know. Mental health for me, especially since like 3 or 4 years ago, it's been a struggle for me. Can't even lie about that. I've I've been to many professional helpers who did try to help me with my mental health issues, but they were quite surprised when I told them my story. So that caused me to feel a bit weird about myself. I don't know if that helped that much. Of course, the conversations I had with them were absolutely brilliant, and they did help me kind of understand how my mind works and what I can do to control it, which was the one issue I faced at the beginning. I didn't know how to control my emotions. I didn't know when to close up to everybody, when to open up about the issues that I faced. So yeah, mental health. It's also very important to be able to talk about it. I think I'm one of the only ones that people do actually trust about their mental health issues. When I'm talking about their individual friend groups, of course, like I do notice that people, when they struggle with mental health or with any issue at all, they do tend to go towards me with those stories. So I do really appreciate it. I don't say that often enough, I think, but I do really appreciate them going to me and then, yeah, having that trust in me and having faith in me that I can help them, knowing my stories, of course, because I talk about my stories with them a lot, and I found out that that actually is the best cure to it. Just talking about it with people you trust. That's the one. Well, is it the advice? I don't know, but that's just one thing I want to tell everybody. Just when you struggle with mental health, please talk about it. It's not your issue anymore. It's everyone's issue that you're involved with. And you might think that that's bullshit. And if you really do believe that, well, then, yeah, fair enough. But if someone you really care about notices that you are not in the best place in life at that moment, the chances are that they won't say anything about it because they're scared that they might hurt you, or, well, that they might notice something that's not there. For example, like if I would notice anything different about my friends and I would ask them straight up, like, are you struggling with mental health? They would look at me weird, like, no, why are you thinking that? Well, that might not be the case actually, and they might be right, but they might as well be hiding something from me and not want to talk about that at the same time. So when you struggle with mental health, just take the first step. You can't expect anyone else to do that for you because they don't know what's going on in your mind. That's why it's your mind and not theirs. Everyone thinks in different ways. Everyone lives differently. So yeah, mental health is something that's not only your problem, and that's such a big lesson in life. Like, I can't even stress it enough how important it is to make, yeah, at least somebody aware. Like, you don't have to share it with the entire world. You don't have to post it on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram that you're feeling a bit under the weather, because people will try to make fun of you, or like start to be fake, you know, those people that will tell you that they'll be there for you, and well, they just won't ever be there for you. That's just the way it goes. um so yeah, mental health for me has been a big topic in my life. Struggled with it quite a lot. Been doing much better the last 6 months, 7 months maybe. And I think the people around me notice that as well. I've been feeling much better. I've been doing much better in terms of venting my issues. Of course, the music helps, as you know. Everything I write is real. It just comes from my mind. That's just how I roll. I won't ever write anything that's fake, unless there's big money that comes with it. But no, that's just not how it goes for me. Now, for me, mental health also means, or well, maybe I'm gonna put it differently. Mental health becomes an issue for me when I feel alone. And loneliness is a feeling that I have quite a lot, if I'm honest. Like, loneliness is one of the main feelings I feel, especially during the evenings. It's when I start to feel lonely, and I just want to not talk to anybody, but just have a feeling of physically people being there for me and there with me, especially. Um, and of course, you might think, well, get yourself a girlfriend, get yourself into a relationship, and then problem solved. And I did think that as well. I'm not trying to offend anybody or things like that, because I was always of that same thought pattern as you are. But for me right now, after the last relationship I had, which was quite okay, but didn't offer me as much support mentally as I would have hoped. Um, it's a struggle. I don't know where I'm at in that position in terms of a thought pattern. I don't really know if I do want a relationship at the moment. It's quite it's a difficult thing for me, because, to be honest, like, I'm going to be very honest here. Like, I don't know if I'm a good boyfriend, if anybody ever has the chance to experience that. I'm always focusing on myself. I'm more focused on doing things that earn me, like, wealth, not and not specifically via money, but just wealth in general, mental wealth as well, in the long run. So I'm focusing on that way more than I should, especially at my age. I'm 20 years old, and I'm focusing on it like it's like I'm halfway through my career path. And so yeah, I don't know. I'd like to think I'm a good boyfriend, but well, I do offer quite a lot of love. I do know that from myself. Um, I'm trustworthy, that's for sure, and I'm very loyal. As most of my friends know, I'm not going to leave anybody that's treating me right just because I've had enough, or whatever like that. So yeah, I'm a very loyal guy, and the things I've just summed up are usually the things girls tell me that they're looking for in a guy. But that's just, is it fake? I don't know, but it's just not true. Everyone wants that, of course, but that's not the reason that people, especially people that are 20 years old or in their late teens, are looking for in a guy. They just want to have, well, first of all, a good looking guy for pictures on the Insta, and to impress their friends with, and to take to holidays to the Maldives and have stunning pictures of them in their six pack, and then the girl in her bikini to just to show off. But that's just not the way I roll at all. Like, give me 2 weeks at home, and spend some time in front of the TV, like create an actual living together scene, to call it that, and I'll be way happier than be 2 weeks in Tokyo visiting the coolest Instagram places. Like, I don't give a shit, man. So it's just where for any children that are listening, if you're a child that listening, then what the hell are you doing here? Because I don't know how the fuck you got to this podcast in the first place. Yeah, but anyway, let's get back to the topic because I'm drifting away slightly. No, so relationship, yeah. Have I been seeing any girls recently? Well, maybe. I have my eye on someone, but I want to, yeah, to know her better in the first place before I go into that stage of like pure pain, isn't it? It's just pain, that stage, because you're like 90% sure that you'll end up with nothing, with empty hands, and it's just long, man. But yeah, just talking to her right now, and yeah, getting a good vibe off of her, but it's just way too early in the process, and that's something I learned. Don't jump the gun in relationships, man. I did when I first went to high school. I told myself I wanted a girlfriend, and then bang, went for the first one I could catch, and yeah, that went horribly wrong, so to say. But yeah, right now I'm not looking to get into a relationship. I'm I can't say I'm unhappy single, because I know I would enjoy life more if I had a security of like the longevity that a relationship offers, you know. That's something I would sign up for. But I'm not specifically looking for anything right at this time. I'm just, yeah, trying to do myself, trying to get the best out of my life at this point, at this age especially, and with these current rules due to COVID, of course. Don't think it's the right time for me yet. I want to develop as a person first and feel like I've developed enough before I will take on the responsibility to care for another person as well. Something I also wanted to talk about, so let's round off our topic of relationships, because yeah, there's not quite a lot to talk about at this right moment in time. Maybe I'll update you in the future if anything changed, but I doubt it will do. Something I want to talk about, right, is religion and my vision on it. I've talked with a mate of mine about my religion. Well, he asked me some questions about religion, and I answered them. Well, yeah, very truly. But it's a vision of mine that, yeah, of course, us youngins, we never talk about religion anymore to each other. So there's never been any questions towards me regarding what my thought is and what I believe in. As most of you know, I'm a Catholic. I've been my entire life, and I grew up in quite a Catholic family because of living with my grandparents, and I've been to church, well, yeah, quite a lot, of course, not in recent years, with COVID, etc., and with having a busier schedule as usual. But I did visit quite a lot, and I tend to visit it more often when I find a time, of course. But I don't know. It kind of feels right for me to go there. Now, am I fully Catholic? Do I believe everything? Do I believe in Jesus? Do I believe in God? Well, not in Jesus. I think that's nothing for me. It's not the thought, or it's not the belief that, yeah, correlates to my way of thinking in everyday life. But in terms of God, I do think that God is a thing. But like, I'm going to explain this like really vaguely. So yeah, it sounds all right in my head when I do this, but people just end up with having more questions than they did before. But like, I think, right, there is someone or something over there, and not like up there, but there's something on this earth or with us that's a God to us. But I don't want to call it a God, because God, it feels like there's a lot of power and rules everything, and that's not what it is. It's like something that's surveying you. It's like watching you closely, watch what you do, and also tries to watch out for you and giving you the conscience of not doing stuff. Like whenever you think about doing something that might be dangerous, like why don't you do it if you want to do it that that badly? Well, your conscience is telling you not to because it's dangerous. That conscience, I think, is somebody try talking to you and convince you not to do it because it might end up badly, and they might know what the outcome could be. So I think that's there, and I think, well, I'll call it God for now to make it easy, but I think God is a person that you hold dearly, that you love, that's passed away. But for you specifically, like for me, I've always believed, or well, ever since I started doubting religion and thinking about it and what it might be, I've always thought that my granddad would, or is my God. That's what I think. Like every decision I make, every time like for example, I nearly crashed my car whenever I first started driving. Like things like that not happening physically. I think it's him. Well, yeah, giving me the extra awareness to handle in that time and to do the right move and to not harm myself, basically. And yeah, just making decisions in everyday life and watching out for me. I think that's my granddad. But like for you listening, it might be your cat, or I'm just saying things like things you love the most that aren't here physically with you anymore. Surely, like after death, it can't be that you don't have any purpose at all. Like surely, of course, our memory starts when we were like 1 year, 1.5, 2 years. But something must have happened right before we were all born. Like surely we can't come from nothing and have nothing past our birth. Or well, back in time. So I should say, I used to believe in reincarnation as well, but like not quite sure of that anymore. I don't think the coming back physically is quite possible. It might be, and I might be completely stupid and dumb, but I don't think it's possible. But I do think people are never gone but never forgotten. So so is a saying, right? But it's not only about that. I do think they're just not ever gone. Like in the first place, yes, physically gone, but mentally, okay, that's about thinking and forgetting, but also about being there. And that's, yeah, being there, it's not being gone. Like whenever I'm thinking about this, I don't pray anymore. I used to, but since I'm not really that Catholic, I don't pray. I just have conversations with the people that have passed, just conversation about regular life. But like I do talk to them quite often, mostly during the evenings, of course, when I'm on my own, and I can have a little rest and process everything that's happened to me and talk to them about life, really, and how I'm feeling, just like I'm doing to you. So maybe you're all my gods. I don't think so, but like a couple of you are like looking out for me and making sure I don't do stupid things. So I appreciate you, by the way, you specifically listening, for yeah, taking your time and listening to me right now, just venting about my stuff. So yeah, that's religion for me. I do think we'll watch that not by the entirety of like people that have passed or people that might do know me, but like one guy or one thing in specifically just looking out for me, looking out for us all. Of course, the people that don't believe in religion at all, like won't believe my thought pattern here as well, and then won't look at things like this and won't see the patterns or the actions that might happen in the day-to-day life as being guided by one another that's not physically you. So yeah. Also, the thought about starting this podcast in the first place was to give you an insight of how I think and what my mind does on a regular basis. And I think I should also talk about that for a bit, because I've always felt a bit weird, I've always felt like I'm just that one guy at the side of the general group. Like, I've always felt like an outcast to a certain degree, because I just seem to function a little bit different to other people. Like, I think differently. My mind's going places that I don't want to. Sometimes I don't have any control about what's happening. Like some of you might as well know. Sometimes I do see things that aren't physically there, or I do think about things that I shouldn't, because, well, it's not putting me in a very good place mentally, and then it has very much effect on my mood as well. So yeah, I think I act different in that regard. But also, like, as many of you know, because you know me well, like, sometimes I do say the most random stuff, and then it just comes up in my head, and there's no barrier between thinking about it and speaking it, so to speak. So yeah, for example, I was at a bus station with my friend Aster once, and, well, it's also the train station, right? So the bell signal goes for the barriers to close down, to stop cars crossing the railroad, and instantly after hearing that noise, I give a verbal response, and, like, it's not something I mean to do. It's not something I want to do. It's just something my body does, and I hadn't got any control of it. And, like, people find it funny, of course, because, like, I say the stupidest stuff as well. Like, I get why it's funny, but for me, it's quite hard to get a grip on, because I don't know where it comes from. I don't know how to stop it. I don't know how to change my thought pattern. I don't know how to step away from these thoughts. I really don't know what to do with it. So for me, it's quite difficult to realize, or to get a grasp on what's going on in my mind. My brain is, like, doing all sorts of things, and I don't know how to cope with it or how to deal with it. And I've wanted to talk about this to professionals as well. Like, is this common? Is this, like, do I just have some sort of a disorder? Is it something that's fairly new, or I don't know what it is, but I'd like to find out what it is, and I'd like to get an answer, but I don't know. I just not feeling like it's the right time to go out and ask anybody. It's not causing me any severe problems in life. So I don't think I will do in the near future, but it's become something that's quite normal for me right now, actually. So, yeah, I just don't think of it as something special anymore. It's just me, and if that's something you like, then, well, good, welcome to my life. But if that's something you absolutely hate and you can't deal with me, like, in public whenever I say stupid things, like, okay, but then just, well, leave my life, because it's not getting any better. That's just how I am. That's just who I am. That's just how it is. And if that's not what you like, well, then I don't need you in my life, because I know you won't be there in the long term for me. So don't need that kind of person in my life. So yeah, that's that topic. And as is the first podcast, I just want to see how this went and how I felt about it. Of course, it caused me a bit of nerves, I'm going to be quite honest with you. But for that reason, I didn't have a lot of topics planned to talk about, and not go into depth as much as I normally would do. well, because it's the first one, and I just wanted to get a feel of what a podcast is and what it is like for me. But I do have a segment or a topic that I want to be a continuing theme throughout all of these episodes. And I'm just going to call it Opinion On, which is just going to be one segment at the final of each podcast where I give my opinion about a topic. And I've asked for topics to some of my mates, and one of them gave me the topic of LGBTQ plus. So the activist movement, or just the movement in general of like inclusion and being anything different than the standard, well, being straight, like boy loving girl, that sort of stuff. So LGBTQ plus, of course, stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer. And my opinion about it is, well, like, I don't really have a straight on opinion about it because I'm not part of it, of that group, and I don't mind other people being part of that group. Of course, everyone should be like they are. Like I just said about me mentally with my brain, like I'm different to other people, and I do realize that. So if you feel like you don't belong like in the same category as others, and you just don't feel the same way about the other gender as well, for now it's just most of our community, like most people do, well, then that's fine. If that's you, just live your life, you know. Who am I to argue with that? I'm trying to live my life as well, and if that makes you happy, that's cool. I'm friends with some people that are gay or are lesbian, and they're cool people, you know. Otherwise they wouldn't be my friends. They're very trustworthy. They bring a good vibe to the table. So yeah, no problem with that at all. I do want to say, like, something that makes the opinion for the general public quite negative is, like, not everybody, of course, because I don't want everybody to get offended, but like there are some people on social media and on the streets in general that like do their very fucking best to make sure people see and people notice and people realize that they aren't straight. So like they dress really weird, and like they hold hands with their lovers, which is all right, of course, because we do it as straight people as well. Like with our girlfriends or boyfriends, we do it as well. So that's completely fine. Like sometimes it's a bit overkill. Like every status now has to have the gender you want to be named as. Like, come on, you don't have to rub it in everybody's face, because that's going to well, in fact, affect everyone's vision about the entire thing, and it's not going to be a very positive vision. I can assure you that. Like, if you want to be different, right? Yeah, this is it harsh? I don't know. It might be, but like, if you want to be different, but live your life. Don't make others try to live your life as well as you, because you think that everyone should know that you are, and everyone has to include you, and everyone has to accept that you are that, because people do accept it, but like, don't have to rub it in anyone's face. Sometimes, yeah, like I just say, it's just a bit overkill. And if you are that person and you are listening to me right now, like, I'm sorry if I offended you, but I do want you to live your life and I do want you to be happy, but like, why do you have to make clear, or like go overkill to make clear to everyone, not only people that you love and that love you and that you trust, but legit everybody in the street, that you are part of this community and that you are a bit different and that you'd like to dress a bit differently, which is fine, but don't rub it in anyone's face. Like, And don't be, please don't be so lightly offended as well. Like, people like to make jokes, right? And people like to make jokes about things that are different to the norm. That's just always how it's been. Like, they try to pick on minorities because they know that the general group that they're telling the joke to isn't part of that different, or is part of that norm and isn't part of that different group. So it's easy to make jokes about, like, but most of these jokes, like I say, are jokes and are sarcastic and ironic. Don't take everything too serious, please. Like, you're only hurting yourself because you're losing friendships that way. Like, if anybody makes a joke, right, and it's over the top for you personally, like, tell them one-on-one. Like, don't make it public, don't make a giant fuss about it. And if they did really say something wrong, then they'll get a lot of backlash from other people as well, like even people from the general group. And I do get it. Like, it's not even getting bullied, it's just getting some banter towards you. It's about taking it on the chin, you know. Like I said, I've been bullied when I was at school, and I was always made aware that my teeth weren't straight, or I had a little bit of a lisp. My glasses were wonky. Like, I was as thin as a twig. Like, I couldn't really defend myself, so I had to take it on the chin, and I'm so glad I did, because it makes you so strong mentally. Like, if you're getting offended by everything that's told to you, like, sorry, but what are you going to do in your life if you can't take any form of critique, or you can't take a joke? Like, does society really have to get that soft? Well, society is a topic that I want to talk about in another podcast, so I'll leave that for then. But yeah, just, yeah, put on another trench coat to thicken your skin, please. Just, yeah, I don't know what to say anymore about that, because I think I've said everything, and I know if I rant on for like 1 minute more, I'm going to offend a lot of people. So don't want to be doing that. I want to make friends, not lose them. So yeah, I think I'm going to end this podcast here. Of course, if you do have any suggestions about next episode's opinion on, so any topics that I should give an opinion on, it can be anything, like, for example, movements like this, but it can also be like some sort of food, or even activities like, I don't know, going kayaking in a small river. Like, please send them to me. Like, I do appreciate it a lot if you try to engage with them. And if you also have some topics for me to talk about, or that you want to know of me, some questions, yeah, then please send them to me. You know where you can get to me on Twitter, on Instagram, or like WhatsApp, Snapchat. Most of you have my information, or have enough information if you want to message me. So yeah, that's been this episode, the first episode of Mind of Mars. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a little insight, as I like to say. It's the motto. But yes, check you the next time. Peace.